All right, we are go for lunch.
Good evening and welcome to the Thursday, February 27th, 2025 meeting of the Henrietta Town Board. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Here.
Councilmember Belanca.
Here.
Councilmember Barley.
Here.
Councilmember Stafford.
Here.
Supervisor Schultz.
Here. We'll begin the meeting with a silent prayer followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Mr. Supervisor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 6, 2025 meeting.
Seconded.
I just will note that I just sent a email to the clerks that the word breath was spelled B-R-E-A-T-H when it should be B-R-E-A-D-T-H, meaning with. So do we need to vote to amend that, Becky, or is that just considered a Scrivener and will be taken care of?
That seems like a Scrivener's to me.
Then any further comments? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Try again, right? Yep.
Aye.
Oh, thank you. Councilmember Belanca. Are the mics on?
They are. Are you not getting audio from the room?
I can hear you.
Sure.
Councilmember Belanca, can you try again?
How about now?
Okay, thank you. Yes. Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 4-98, 2025. Whereas Linda Rhines has served as one of the most dedicated volunteers at the Henrietta Public Library since 2017, working 15 to 20 hours each month as a book mender, carefully fixing broken bindings, reattaching loose pages, and taping torn pages and covers. And whereas Linda's work has allowed the library to continue circulating books that would otherwise have to be discarded, extending those books' lives and saving hundreds and thousands of dollars that might have gone to repurchasing these titles. And whereas Linda has developed a great deal of skill in her mending and is able to mend some of the toughest damage and work with the most difficult bindings. And whereas Linda is smart, dedicated, funny, and a joy to be around, therefore be it resolved that the town board, the Henrietta Public Library Board of Trustees, and a grateful library staff wish to congratulate Linda Rhines, 2025 Library Volunteer of the Year, and thank her for her steadfast service to the community.
Second.
So one of the things the library has wanted to increase is recognition of their volunteers. They get a lot of help from volunteers, so it's great to see them putting this forth. I do not know that answer. Is there any further comments?
No.
Then hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Very good.
Aye.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's causing that. Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. Just give a slight pause afterwards in case it's a issue with not being silenced when the mic is on. That sometimes happens, so. I don't know. Is Linda here? I don't think so.
Mr.
People in
Super,
the back are a little blurry, so.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 4-99/2025. Whereas Henrietta Public Library Friends and Foundation Incorporated has donated $7,550 to the Henrietta Public Library for the Tiny Art Show, adult events, summer reading program, summer children's sing-along series, teen events, mystery book giveaway, and ASL interpreting services. And whereas a check in the amount of $7,550 was received by the library director, therefore be it resolved that the Henrietta Town Board acknowledges this donation and thanks Henrietta Public Library Friends and Foundation Incorporated for their generosity.
Second it.
So again, the Friends and Foundation do a phenomenal job supporting our library and, running events, that help raise funds, providing a lot of other services. It's a really great addition. So thank you for all you guys do. Any other comments? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca,
Aye.
Councilmember Barley,
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford,
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
You said you had a voting.
Next up, we have a presentation from the Regional Transit Service.
Good evening.
Meeting.
My name is Miguel Velasquez. I'm the CEO of RTS, which you probably know better as the bus company. I'm here joined by the person who actually runs RTS and you know very well, our CFO, Scott Adair, in the back. Thank you for having us. In June of 2021, RTS went through a whole system redesign. All our routes were overhauled. It was quite the undertaking, and we went live in 2021.
That's somebody who's not muted. Go ahead, keep going.
Soon after making that change, we got a call from T-Mobile over on Clay Road asking us if we could have a new route that would go by their facility to serve the 1,000 employees in that facility. What we ended up doing, and by the way, we pride ourselves of being part of the economic engine that helps the communities we serve. And we certainly feel that we're part of that here in Henrietta because we bring a lot of people to the employers here in Henrietta from the city in particular. But what we ended up doing was reroute our Route 14 Marketplace to go from Marketplace Drive over to Clay Road instead of continuing straight on Marketplace Drive to the corner of Marketplace Drive and Jefferson Road. And the problem was that there's a lot of people that use that bus and got on and off at that corner of Jefferson for all the fast food and other businesses in that area. And there wasn't a sidewalk that went all the way to that corner. So we approached the supervisor, and we had one of the best experiences that we really have had with many of the communities. He was very open to listening to us, just a great spirit of partnership and collaboration with us, which is, again, not something that we're used to encountering all the time. So on behalf of our board, on behalf of the RTS employees, we want to really thank and appreciate Supervisor Schultz for his spirit of collaboration. And we want to present him with a certificate of appreciation reads like this: in recognition of your commitment to helping us provide a more enjoyable transit experience for our customers and residents of Henrietta by installing a new sidewalk along Marketplace Drive. Your leadership and partnership with the Regional Transit Service has made a significant impact on the lives of the people we both serve. Thank you so much for your help and your partnership.
Thank you. Happy to accept it, but I will do so on part of our engineering department who were the ones who designed it, and on behalf of our DPW who are the ones who built it. So did you want to get a
You want a photo?
photo? Scott back there with us.
Yeah. You should. I'll get out of it.
Well, Gal, I just want to add, I want to thank RTS and your employees. What a great service they provide our community. As somebody who grew up in the city without a car, it was very meaningful. My mother ended up as an employee there. Kind of changed our lives. So hats off to RTS and all the service you've done over the last, 100 years now? So
Not him.
not buses though.
Not him personally.
Yeah, not you, right? Not you personally either. So thank you to everybody that works at RTS.
I will, as I jokingly said at the workshop, the certificate's great. I can't wait to see the shelter. Next up, we have a public hearing for special use permit application number 2025-002, CCW Entertainment LLC, 1555 East Henrietta Road, to allow a second floor addition and building renovation due to pre-existing non-conforming use of the building. Do we have representatives coming up?
Good evening.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, your relationship to the project, and tell us what you're looking to do.
I'm Ignacio Cancelleri. I am the owner of the business and of the plaza. And for many reasons, we were planning on getting the second floor done for safety reasons, for fire code reasons, also for comfort of obviously our patrons. We can explain. The architect can explain a little bit more about the building, but more than anything, it's for safety and comfort of everybody that comes to our establishment, and just to have a nice place to go.
Good evening, Roger Langer with Greater Living Architecture. I am a registered architect and the designer of the proposed addition. Ignacio came to me looking to add a second floor level over the main portion of the building, right at the front of the property, not the whole building. The goal was to improve egress, improve space in between tables and the bar, increase circulation area, not to increase the number of patrons within the establishment. We had preliminary meetings with the building department, the fire department, and I believe you've received a letter. And at that meeting, they were requested to remove some tables and chairs to improve the egress on the existing first floor level. The proposal is to add 2 emergency egress doorways from the first floor level. The proposed second floor level will have 2 stairways, one directly to the exterior. So like we said, it's no desire to increase the amount of patrons in the building. It's just to provide more privacy and to kind of get him back to where his previous certificate occupant said the number of occupants he could have.
Questions?
I'm looking for I can't find it here.
I have a question. It doesn't make sense to me that you want to go up in the club, but you don't want to increase the amount of people that come to enjoy the club. Why is that?
That's actually a simple question. Our business, we really don't have it's not like a dance club or a bar or something where everybody just shows up and has a great time. It's limited to certain people that come in. I don't think I've ever been at capacity in 15 years that I've been there. And more than anything, the reason we want to go up is for, like we said, privacy, for convenience. And I'm sure you're familiar that Rochester has a lot of entertainment, like the comedy club and other places that shows come in, Maniscalco. We've had Hulk Hogan. We've had many different celebrities that come into our establishment. Just a few months ago, we had Kevin Hart sitting outside to come in and refused to come in because we had no area to seat them, where people would come in and gawk and say, "Oh my God, look who's here!" So we want more of a space where when we have a celebrity or somebody comes in, they have somewhere private to go sit down in a VIP area. Right now, the VIP area is around a small area, and you're in front of everybody else. You know, if anybody wanted to come in and just sit together with somebody in a group, there's no group seating anywhere. You've got to move everybody around and sit everywhere. It's more spacing and comfort. And again, when these celebrities do come in, we have somewhere to put them and they feel safe and comfortable without having everybody going over and bothering them. It'll be nice because then we will be able to serve food at certain tables. It's just more of a comfort and spacing for our customers that we do have, and anybody that comes into town that wants to have somewhere safe to go. I don't know if you've read our reviews. We have many 5-star reviews, and that's why these people actually come to our place, because it's safe. So it's not about how many, it's about the quality.
So I'll note, Rob, one of the things when they're going up, they're talking about it just a mezzanine level, not an additional floor. The other
Yeah.
thing I'll note too, as far as the capacity, even if he requested additional capacity because it's a pre-existing non-conforming use, that's not something typically that's allowed. And so in some cases, you're not even allowed to expand the footprint. Through the section of code that was put in at the last meeting. That section has always been there for gas stations and service stations. And we, again, last meeting expanded that to other pre-existing non-conforming uses as well. It's by special use permit. That special use permit has a higher standard of approval, for lack of a better way to put it, than a normal special use permit. But the idea is, if this is a business that is conforming with all current rules and regulations and not causing issues, and the only thing that's happened is the zoning has changed, and so that business isn't allowed there anymore, it doesn't make sense. Like I said, we'd already done this for a lot, the gas stations and service stations. It just didn't make sense to us that you should say to these folks, well, sorry, you can't make any improvements and your business will slowly die. It makes more sense that they be allowed to upkeep it, but not expand because it's, again, the capacity, because it's a pre-existing non-conforming use. One of the things in looking at that, so one of the things I'll just read is, if this does get approved, so basically what we usually do is we put together an approval resolution for these, because they typically have conditions. That way we're ready to go. I honestly don't know whether this one is going to pass or not, but I'll read you what the conditions that are on there currently, and then if others want to add to it, there'll be an opportunity.
I got questions.
Yeah, no problem. I'm just letting them know
Yeah.
because it's in line with what we've talked about. So first condition is that all floor plans and construction plans be approved by applicable agencies, including the town building and fire prevention department. That one's fairly standard. Fire detection systems and fire safety procedures be installed and upgraded to the satisfaction of the Henrietta Fire Marshal. Some of that's what you've already talked about,
Yes.
the additional egresses,
Yep.
the proper detection system in the mezzanine, that type
Absolutely.
of stuff. The maximum occupancy of the building is not permitted to exceed 64 occupants.
64,
That's what
correct.
its current occupancy is. One of the things I'll just note that's happened with that, and we saw this at RIT, their old ice rink. The capacity there used to be 3,000 seats. As fire codes changed, it dropped to 2,300. And so again, he's kind of experiencing that now. He can't fit 64 people in there safely under the new fire codes. And so to keep even close to that capacity. That's why he needs some additional floor space. That there be no suggestive signs or artworks, either images or text installed on the exterior of the building or visible from the exterior of the building. So
Absolutely.
he
not.
doesn't currently have that. As we always talk about, special use permits stay with the property, not with the owner. So we have to cover ourselves in the event that you sell this to an owner who I might not have as much faith in
Correct.
there as you do. And I will say that the other gentlemen's club that we did have problems with, this was one of the things.
I understand.
By putting it in the special use permit, technically we can go after this anyways from code. Putting in the special use permit makes it easier for the town to get compliance. Again, this doesn't really affect you because
No,
yours says tally ho, and then I think it says something like adult style shop
it doesn't say anything at all.
on the canopy.
There's no
the
canopy.
canopy's
no,
gone
it
now?
just says just the name and
Just
that's it.
the name,
I don't
yeah.
want anything that even remotely reflects that. I just want it to be a neighborhood place
Yeah.
where people can go to a bar.
There used to be a green canopy.
There used to be a green canopy
Yeah,
with
it's
it.
on the
I got
ground in
rid
the
of that
imagery.
because it's more of a stigma than anything else.
Gotcha.
I just wanted it to be,
Yep.
Clean.
Perfect. That all, again, this already applies, but it just gives us, should someone violate this in the future, that all adult entertainment take place on the interior of the building with no visibility from outside the building. This includes construction of an entrance such that when the doors are open, it does not allow a view inside to the performers.
Yes, we've
And I know
already
when we-
corrected that also.
Right, when we went over your plan, you turned the
Going
entrance
in
90
this way,
degrees.
and going in
Yep.
this way to go inside.
Yep, perfect. And that the operators of the business exercise due diligence to minimize or eliminate any disturbances to the surrounding businesses, neighborhood, or community. Repeated disturbances or similar issues may result in the revocation of the special use permit by the Henrietta Town Board. Again, we've not had any issues
No.
with you operating it. My wife wasn't even aware the place existed.
I drove by it for 10 years and didn't even know what it
Yeah.
was. That's why I took the canopy down and everything. And the good thing is, I own the whole plaza, which
Right.
with the smoke shop and the State Farm. So there's never been any disturbances in any of those places.
Yeah.
And they're great businesses to be next to.
Yeah, so those are what we have in there. What that does by doing this, then it also allows us, like I said, should you ever sell to someone who isn't as diligent as yourself, this gives us the ability to
understand
shut them
100%.
down, or either to encourage them to get back in line, or if they won't get back in line, then to be able to shut them down. So,
Absolutely.
okay, go ahead, Mike, you had some,
I'm not done yet.
oh, Rob.
Thank you for that
Yep.
explanation. Will you be hiring any additional employees?
I'm sorry.
Will you hire any additional employees?
Oh, no, we have people that come and go all the time. I think that we have a staff approximately of 40 right now, and that's more than what we actually need.
So you mentioned the kitchen. Are you cooking now there?
Actually, I'm gonna have a small kitchen area that I can have things keep warm, but thanks to the panel, you accepted the restaurant next door, and they're a beautiful Mediterranean restaurant that is actually going to give us a tablet, and they are going to make the food. We're going to order it, goes directly to their kitchen, and then one of our employees, a waitress, will pick up the food and actually serve it in our establishment. And if we need to keep warm, then that's when we're going to have that little kitchen area so that we can keep it warm for
I
them.
do remember you
they-
mentioning
right.
that last time.
Yes.
They do have to have some food on premises
For our
because of
liquor
the
license,
liquor
correct.
license. You can't have a bar without food.
I'm done.
Thank you.
Does the liquor authority have to approve this?
Yes. Yes. After I'm done with you and I have an approval, I actually have to send a letter with all the plans to the liquor authority to approve it. And that would probably take a couple of months. They probably will, because they don't care about the building. They care about your interests and what you say. If you're okay with it, they're okay with it. I'm not expanding anything. I'm not changing anything. I'm still selling the same liquor. I'm not doing anything different. So I'm not changing my, they don't care about the footprint. They care about what we sell and what we do. And we're going to keep everything the same.
And they're one of the applicable agencies, so. I just
Okay,
didn't
okay.
expressly name
Yep,
them,
I-
but yeah.
Well, I didn't know if they'd already if they had
No,
would
no, I
approve that they
can't, I
already
can't
got,
do it
but
till
they
I
gotta do
actually
it
get
after the
something
fact.
from you to say that you're okay with it. If you're not okay with it, they're not okay with it, obviously. I can't go forward without your approval.
And when you showed us the plans, I don't know, what was it, 2 months ago?
Mhm.
Your draft, I'm not sure if they were your final plans or not.
I think, we emailed you the final plans. You should have everything that
Hmm.
we finished off.
I didn't see the actual floor layout, but I just remember them from
Yeah,
from
yeah.
before.
No,
How many-
we changed the entrance like, Stephen mentioned, and we, added more of the, exits. But it's pretty much exactly the same layout.
Okay. And as Councilman Barley was saying, I usually only hear of businesses if they're gonna buy equipment or expand, it's only so they can make more money,
No, I just need more room,
so,
and like I
but-
said, as they visited, they could actually see what I was talking about, why I came to you. I just need more room for people to be safe and comfortable and move around. If you have to go to the bathroom, you don't have to step over people, and even with 20 people, 25 people, with the chairs and the tables, it's just cumbersome. And they noticed it. The fire marshal, like he said, made me take out 3 chairs and 10 tables. If you're anything that know about a bar, that is a lot of money to lose.
So how many extra rooms are, or?
There's going to be no extra rooms. It's no extra room for people to fill to make their to.
I think he's referring to dens.
Oh, sorry.
VIP rooms,
VIP,
dens,
right,
whatever,
yes.
whatever you guys
4.
call them.
I'm sorry, 4. 4.
And those are 4 additionals?
4 additionals, correct.
Okay.
To fill up the room upstairs, obviously. And there's going to be a huge storage room, a second floor bathroom.
Okay. One of my concerns is what goes on in those dens.
Oh, I have cameras everywhere. When there's something wrong in the area, or the 3 times that the Chase Bank got robbed, I caught them.
No,
Uh,
I meant.
No, I have internal cameras that go on every day, and by law, they cannot be erased. They cannot be removed. So I have cameras in every room and every corner of my building, the State Farm building, the outside building, everywhere, the smoke shop. You can't walk by inside or outside of my building without me knowing. If you drop a dime with my camera, I can tell you what you dropped. Inside, if you're saying inside those rooms, there's camera also.
Now I noticed that your building is, what was the number?
55.
1555. And then the State Farm is, even though it's.
1559.
Oh, that actually has 1555.
It does
The
because it's
proper-
an
The
old-
whole property is 1555.
Okay.
But they have a separate mailing address,
That answers
but
my.
the property
yes.
address is all 1555.
By law, it is. We changed the mailing addresses for the tenants to get their mail because they couldn't get their mail, and we separated everything.
That was my, I noticed one of the boxes, one 1555 on one building, 1557 on another mailbox.
Right.
Do they, where the restaurant's going, and I think it was the old laundromat, it's the 2 floor, it's the 2
That-
stores there?
Yes, he's only using the 1 floor, and he's keeping the upstairs just for storage or whatever. We had spoken about that. I'm actually in the process right now of putting the 3/4 inch wooden floor so that they have that fire hazard protection, and finishing the and finishing the ceiling so that they can put all their fire alarms in.
Okay. Do you guys or do you ever allow private parties up?
No,
From
it's
your
it's
business
completely torn
upstairs?
up. You can't even
So you
go
haven't-
upstairs.
you don't-
There's absolutely nothing up there. There's
But
not
that was
even
a
a ceiling.
separate special use permit. That's a separate.
No,
company.
I'm talking about that if his business
No.
ever uses the building across in that parking lot, the upstairs floor
No,
for private parties
no.
and, okay.
They are renting the whole space.
They're renting the
They're
whole
just not
space. They have a
using the
lease for the whole
upper
space,
floor. Yeah.
and they're keeping the whole space.
So, just in the dens, do you, how should we, I gotta think about how to get.
Gotta reword it.
I gotta word this.
I can tell you that when I hire everybody, they sign a contract because I am the only club in this area from Buffalo to Syracuse that has employees. I pay my people to work for me. So I dictate what they can and cannot do, the hours they can work and what they can wear. And I can tell you that on the paperwork, it says this is called Fantasyland. And that's all it is. I catch anybody doing anything inappropriately inside or outside of my building. they will be fired immediately, and I have the paperwork to prove it and a track record to prove that I will fire anybody that does anything that will cause me to lose my license, because that's all I have to feed my family is my building and my license. And if anybody does anything that is inappropriate or that stands out like that, they will be fired immediately. I will not lose my business and my liquor license over somebody's stupidity.
So there's no, I'll think about
In Canada, that is legal, not here.
So you charge when you have somebody, when they go for a private dance and it's a flat rate, or do they
Yes.
negotiate a rate
It's a
for
flat
extra
rate.
for?
Because I have employees, everybody is the same. No one can charge more, nobody can charge less. If I find out that somebody does charge more, they get it back to the customer or they're fired. That's absolutely not. I don't want anybody saying that I got gouged there. I do.
Well, I wasn't referring-
I run a very strict type business, and my face, and I don't want to put it on the news. So I have family, I have 7 kids and a wife, and I run a very clean type business.
And just the last one, I got a phone call from somebody who's familiar with this business, and they said that we already approved this. Have you
What?
told any of your employees that this has been approved?
I have told my employees that we might have to close for a couple of months for if we get the approval for the renovation.
Okay.
I never said that we were,
Okay.
actually, a lot of people knew that we were coming here tonight.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks. No, that's all. I'm good right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Fine.
Was there anything the conditions covered, or were there any additional?
I don't have anything.
I do have another question. There's a little, you got where the main building is.
Yes,
And then there's a little building just behind there.
that's my office.
That's your office. Okay.
Yes. It's where all the cameras and everything stays, where we count the money, where we have the money machines and everything. You're more than welcome anytime to come in and inspect when we're closed and whatever. Yeah, I'll show you my camera systems. I'll show you how everything is camered, and you can't miss a beat in my place.
It's been about 30 years, I think, since the last time. More than that, probably.
All right. Are there any questions from the public? Do we have any questions online? Then hearing and seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing for special use permit application number 2025-002, CCW Entertainment. You can keep talking.
I got it.
If you want to wait till, why don't we do this?
I'll wait.
We'll put the
Resolution.
resolution up and then discuss during that. Okay. Did you want to put it forth, Rob, or would you prefer I put it forth?
I'll let you put it forward.
Okay.
Thanks.
Fellow board members, I have resolution 4-100, 2025 to approve an update to a building with a pre-existing non-conforming use through special use permit application number 2025-002 for an adult entertainment gentlemen's club at 1555 East Henrietta Road.
I'll second it.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
So the other question I did have, and I got to read it, is, character of the neighborhood. A lot of usually you don't have a 2-story building in front of smaller buildings, and that close to the, it's going to be,
Well,
it's a little closer to the.
the
street than
good
most
thing is
2-story
that there's already a 2nd-story building right next to it, and it's going to look just like it. And when you look at my building, and because of how the plaza is, and the walkway is, you don't even know there's buildings behind my building right now. You can't even see them. Even from the road, you can slightly get a peek of there's a side building there. There's absolutely there's no change in anything, actually, because the plaza, the way it's built, that 2nd floor takes up so much room on the restaurant side that they're going to mirror each other. We're actually going to add windows on the 2nd floor, also fake windows to mirror that it is going to look almost like the building next door. It's almost going to look like they're the same, except for that small space going to the back to going to the dumpsters So it's actually going to look aesthetically correct.
And they did have, Chris Martin, I don't remember if Luke was also there, but was there, and we were discussing in the parking lot about, they had raised that question as to whether we thought it would make sense to have the fake windows on there, and we did, because again, for exactly the reason you're saying,
Aesthetics.
it mirrors the look of the building, so it'll,
Blend
you know,
in.
right, it'll be a nice,
Not an
continuation
eyesore.
of the plaza. Yeah. Any other questions?
Don't have any.
Can I make a motion to table this until next meeting?
You can make the motion.
I'll make the motion to table this until the next meeting.
Is anyone seconding?
I don't really want to table it. I'd like to vote on it. To be quite honest about it.
Then without a second, the motion to table fails. Any further discussions? And hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca? I'm sorry, something's wrong with these. Councilmember Belanca?
Aye.
Councilmember Barley?
Nay?
Councilmember Stafford?
Nay, because I would have liked to have found out more information. Thank you.
Supervisor Schultz?
Congratulations.
Thank you very
Um,
much.
Thank you.
You know, again, be sure to work with the,
I'll
the
bring the
planning
plans in
department
and everything.
right, the engineering and planning with regards to the facades, and the building department, obviously, with
Yeah.
regards to all the permits and such.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a public hearing for special use permit application number 2025-003, Ted Hosmer, 1243 Lehigh Station Road, to allow the building to be utilized as migrant farm worker housing with a maximum of 6 concurrent documented migrant farm workers. Do we have a representative from the applicant?
Ted Hosmer is here online.
I'm here. And can you hear me?
We can.
Awesome.
Do you want to
I
introduce?
cannot turn on the video for whatever reason, gentlemen. I apologize.
That's okay. If you could just introduce yourself and tell us what you'd like to do here.
We're looking at, my name is Ted Hosmer. I've been in business for over 37 years. Been in Henrietta for over 25 years. We have a farm on East Henrietta Road, and we get migrant workers in to work the farm and our nursery, and looking to house them just the same as last year on on Lehigh Station Road at 1243.
So one of the questions that came to, was sent to me sometime after your approval last year, was a question as to, are these workers truly working agriculture, or are they doing lawn service?
They're working agricultural.
Has this, so I assume this is through New York State Department of Ag and Markets?
It's through the federal government with Homeland Security, New York State Department of Labor, and Monroe County does the inspection on the housing.
So it's labor, not ag, okay. And the federal government hasn't shut this program down? I know, that's, I'm surprised.
I'd love to see them do that, because if you think we're in turmoil now, you get on the wrong side of some farmers, and things will really go bad.
Yeah, I just,
You can, good question.
with all the other stuff, I'm just surprised, let's just put it that way.
That are upset about funds being held federally on their
Oh,
crops,
absolutely.
so they're already upset, so that's a moot point. But what kind of farming are they gonna be doing? When will they start?
They start April 1st and they go through December December 1st.
And what type of farming will they be doing?
I have a number of different properties that they work on. We have a couple different farms that we grow Christmas tree crops, same as last year.
Any other crops, just Christmas trees?
Just Christmas trees.
Thank you.
Is it? So you obviously have more than just the one on East Henrietta and Good Burlette? That's
I do.
Okay. And where is your, did you mention a nursery? Is that here in town also? Or-
Yeah, it's Hosmer Nursery and Tree Farm is the name of the LLC, gentlemen.
Oh, right. So right on is that the one right on the corner there?
Lehigh Station?
In Henrietta, yes, that is.
Okay, yes. I'm sorry, I know. I'm good.
So like I usually do with these resolutions, I'll read to you what conditions would be on the resolution if it is approved. One, that prior to being occupied by farm workers, the building be approved by all applicable agencies, including the town building and fire prevention department. We did get comments from Monroe County that should also be with the Monroe County Department of Health. That only agricultural workers may occupy the premises. The farm workers must be deemed agricultural workers. So I thought it was by the Department of Agriculture and Markets. Is it Department of Labor?
He said home.
I deal with the Department of Labor, I deal with Homeland Security, and I deal with Monroe County.
Okay, I am going to amend that to say Department of Labor. In order to occupy the premises, the town may request documentation that all current occupants of the premises are compliant with the New York State Department of Labor laws.
Yep, they actually come in and we do a couple hour tutorial where they come in every spring, make sure that the guys know their rights and so forth. And it's actually quite well represented to protect the workers.
Including that workers are part of an agricultural program and failure to provide such documentation or any known violations of New York State labor laws may result in the revocation of the special use permit by the town board. That only documented agricultural farm workers may occupy the premises. No undocumented immigrants or individuals who otherwise are not in compliance with United States immigration laws may occupy the premises. Again, the town may request documentation that all current occupants of the premises are compliant with immigration laws, and failure to provide such documentation or any known violations of United States immigration laws may result in the revocation of special use permit by the town board. 4, that only farm workers may occupy the premises. No family members may reside in the structure, as it is no longer considered a residence while operating as a migrant farm worker housing facility under the special use permit. Non-farm workers residing in the building may result in the revocation of special use permit by the town board. And 5, that this special use permit will expire on December 31st, 2025, or upon the resumption of use of the property as a code compliant single-family residence, whichever occurs first. I assume you still want the timed thing on there like you did last time? Is that correct?
The industry's been changing, but yes, the time thing, I'll go through this again in 1 year.
Okay, so I'll just note that when I put forth this resolution, I'm going to do so with it reading Department of Labor instead of Agriculture and Markets, which is what it says today.
Okay.
Can I interject? Did you say you were adding Monroe County Health Department to that first?
I'm not, but I didn't bother to add them.
Oh, okay.
I'm just letting him know that according to Monroe County, they are one of those applicable agencies.
Okay, so just the change to Department of Labor.
Yeah, yeah. I don't bother to try to list all the applicable agencies. I just always list the one in the town because that's the most important to me. So. Other questions, comments?
None from me.
You were saying earlier, if the president has his way, he won't have to worry about the Department of Labor. very soon.
That's true. All right. Do we have any questions from or comments from the public? How about online? Then hearing and seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing for special use permit application number 2025-003, Ted Hosmer.
Second.
No, I gotta put
Well, I
forth.
thought you were reading it, sir.
No, I was just, I like to, during the discussion, bring up the conditions just to make sure if it's easier to change them before we put the motion forward. All right, fellow board members, I have resolution 4-101, 2025 to approve a time-limited special use permit application number 2025-003 for migrant farm worker housing at 1243 Lehigh Station Road.
Second.
So as mentioned earlier, I'm putting it forth with, in condition 2, wherever it used to say Department of Agriculture and Markets, it's now Department of Labor, and where it used to say Agriculture and Market Laws, it's now Labor Laws. That's the only difference text that was included with the agenda. So, very good. Any further comments, questions? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca,
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. Congratulations. And we'll be looking forward to your paperwork. If you have any remaining with the town.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks, Chair.
Next up, we have a public hearing for special use permit application number 2025-004, Evado 77 Ridgeland Road, to allow the operation of a cannabis micro business with cultivation, processing, retail, and distribution of cannabis. Please identify yourselves and your relationship to the project.
Hi, good evening. Supervisor Schultz, members of the town board, Tim Weber with Aquest Development Company. We're the owner of the building.
Hi, Wayne Bishop with the Evado for the occupancy.
Tell us a little bit about what you're looking to do.
Sure. This is, I think, the third meeting in a row that we've attended for this property here at 77 Ridgeland Road. It's a secondary road for Jefferson Ave. This building we've owned now, I think, for almost 4 years. The building is now vacant, fully vacant. We've been working now with Wayne for a few months to look at this building and this opportunity here. We're requesting, again, a special use permit to allow a cannabis micro business for which Wayne has a license. So he can share a little bit more about that. I guess the building in general, we're not changing anything about the site. So I know this went to Monroe County. They came back and they had some comments on there. That's all. If we were really changing the site or changing the building. So we're not changing the parking, the landscaping, the amount of green space outside of the building. So really, we're just bringing a building back into service with this use. I think it's really good use for the building. As it sits today, there's been a long history with the building in general. So, you know, we had a pretty long letter of intent we put together, kind of going through why we believe in this project here and this use in the building. You know, we believe it's not going to cause any kind of nuisance with odor or noise. It's over 1,000 feet from the nearest residence, well over 1,000 feet from the nearest school, or playgrounds, churches, etc. So it's actually a really great location for this project, and it's all kind of come together now today, I think. So we appreciate the time. And Wayne, if you want to tell
sure.
more.
Yeah. So I mean, the micro business license allows us to dispense cannabis products, manufacture, process, and cultivate cannabis products. So we're just trying to maximize that license at 77 Ridgeland Road, which has all the infrastructure that we need to really be able to do this with. So from my perspective and being in this industry for over 6 years, this really is the two things coming together that really complements each other. One is the license, and secondly, the building that allows the license to maximize its use. And we think this is a great opportunity for Henrietta and probably for all of us, to be honest with you.
So a couple things just of note, as we've discussed previously, Henrietta opted out of on-site consumption. So you can do the retail dispensary portion of the micro business. You cannot do the on-site consumption. I have had some conversations with the Office of Cannabis Management. I'd sent you an email and them email at the same time. You both came back. So they do verified the license and that it was transferable. We did receive today your notification to municipalities. So we will be after this, we'll be sending our response back to the Office of Cannabis Management. Like I said, they did say you're currently operating, was it Olean?
I'm sorry.
What town are you currently operating in?
Oh, sorry. That was originally Ithaca.
Ithaca, yeah. But they did say that was transferable and that, they said obviously can't complete the transfer until the notification and our disposition letter. So,
Correct.
one of the things I will note, you said you're not changing the exterior if through your site plan review, and most likely because it's just refitting an existing one, it would just be administrative. But if there is so we've been working with property owners to increase the amount of green space. So I'm not familiar enough with the green space out in front of that building, but I'll just note that there may be a request to, add trees where there aren't trees or stuff like that. So whereas again, the county comments may not be applicable, there may be a request to just up the greenery some, because that's one of the things, this area, Jefferson Road, which a lot of people don't realize, used to be mostly industrial, not commercial. And it's moved over to commercial. Now you're in the back portion where it's the heavier industrial, but we're still everywhere trying to increase the amount of greenery. There was a day and age where everything were seas of asphalt, and we're trying to dial that back. In fact, one of the things we're doing is updating our parking codes so that they're more in line with modern vehicular practice, so that we don't need as many parking spaces. So,
Well, Mr. Schultz, one thing I can say is that in front of the property, there's a big grassy area, and also on the side, there's a big grassy area. So the amount of green space around this building is pretty nice, to be honest with you.
Good.
So if you ever get a chance, take a look at it, but there is a lot of grass around this.
yeah, I like I said, I don't know whether they're going to recommend anything. I'm just making that note that some of these properties, they've been deficient in the amount of green space, and not necessarily yours specifically. That's really more of an issue for the planning board. I'm just letting you, or like I said, or if it's or the Department of Engineering and Planning, if it's an administrative process. So,
One more thing on that. If that is the case, we're amenable to that. We're a pretty big landowner here in town. We have other buildings. We bought some products or some buildings from Kodak, where what you just said, that wasn't the case. One of which was 2 million square feet we bought from Kodak in 2008. We still own the building. It's 100% occupied. And we, I think, done a really good job over the years to make that property, for what it is, look really nice. So we're open to it if it came up that we're hoping to be the long-term owners of the building. We're happy to do it.
Sounds good. So again, I'll read the conditions that are on the approval resolution, should it be approved. So prior to operating the microbusiness dispensary, the applicant must obtain all necessary government approvals to operate said cannabis microbusiness and adult use cannabis dispensary, including but not limited to the necessary microbusiness license from the New York State Office of Cannabis Management. Obviously, in this case, it's transferring that for you, but the microbusiness and dispensary shall be operated in accordance with all applicable laws, rules, and regulations. Number 3, that on-site consumption of cannabis products, either in-store or on-site, such as in the parking lot or adjacent areas, is prohibited, and that diligence is expected from the operation to prevent this from occurring. The failure to prohibit and or a lax attitude towards those improperly consuming cannabis products in store or on site may result in the revocation of the special use permit by the town board. So we take that seriously because right now, unfortunately, there is not a way to tell if somebody is intoxicated under the influence. As we talk about, the tests can't differentiate between someone who smoked an hour ago or a week ago. And so until that gets better, the town of Henrietta believes that we're not going to do on-site consumption. Even if it does change, I don't know that the board will change. I'm just saying that that was one of the major factors as to why we decided to opt out. That the operation exercises diligence with respect to childproof containers, packaging that does not entice children, buyer identification procedures, monitoring the facility inside and out, the use of safe and other cash handling protocols, and other procedures and protocols to ensure that the legal sale of cannabis products and to help prevent the cannabis products from falling into the hands of minors. The failure to maintain adequate safeguards or a material departure from what was presented to the town board during the application process may result in the revocation of the special use permit by the town board. So again, now, to be honest, we've not had any problems with our legal cannabis dispensaries. We've had a bunch of problems with the illegal ones, and it's frustrating to us that the Office of Cannabis Management hasn't come through and shut them all down. But we have this in here because for just that reason. It gets frustrating to us. We even had one that an undercover or a plainclothes deputy along with a plainclothes cadet who was under the age of 21 went in and was able to make a purchase at one of these illegal shops. And that still hasn't been shut down. That is incredibly frustrating to us. So that's part of why we put it in here, because if OCM isn't doing their job, it gives us a recourse.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't expect there to be an issue. We've seen zero issues with any of the legal operators. But we just like to have that protection in there.
Not to mention how unfair it is to the legal operators.
That they're not
Yeah.
getting shut
that-
down.
It's,
that the,
Absolutely.
it's equally frustrating for us,
Right.
to be
Yeah.
quite honest with you. Yeah, I mean, the OCM, for what I can say, they have been padlocking some of these stores, and they have, but I wish it was a little bit more serious, to be honest. with
They,
you.
what,
They unlock them the next day.
no, they don't necessarily. The problem is it's really frustrating for us because we have more licensees than any other town. And yet we get, I swear we get the least amount of prosecution. So they're prosecuting them in these towns that don't even necessarily have an operator or maybe have one operator. We've got a bunch of operators and they're not going after them here, nor is our district attorney. And she always gets mad when I say that, but I'm like, sorry, it's the fact.
Yeah.
We've had clear-cut violations and they've not prosecuted them. I don't want to get into an argument as to why. It's just frustrating. That all cannabis sale activity shall take place within the interior of the building or at a designated curbside locations along the front of the building in conjunction with applicable New York State Office of Cannabis Management laws and regulations regarding curbside sale operations. No sales may occur in other locations outside under tents or under portico or similar structure. Again, that's pretty straightforward from OCM.
Yeah.
The sixth, this one, now we start to move into the stuff with regards to the production. Odor control systems and procedures shall be in place so as to prevent odors from the cultivation, production, processing, or sale of cannabis activities. Do not leave the buildings or otherwise create issues for neighboring businesses or properties. And again, the failure to maintain adequate odor control systems and procedures may result in the revocation of the special use permit. You're going to be our first cultivator. The closest we had is one of the farms in a greenhouse planted hemp. And boy, when those things bloomed, it stunk the whole neighborhood up for like a mile. And I think in talking to you, you said typically if you don't allow it to bloom, that greatly reduces the odor.
Well, there's a couple of things. So first of all, with doing it indoors, it's much harder to let that odor get away from you as it is an outdoor operation. Completely different programs. But indoor, we can keep everything confined. We have air handling units that are containing all the air, so we're able to control these odors much more effectively. I've been operating other businesses for cannabis and we've had great success. I've had no issues at all. Never even had a notice of violation or anything related to odor. So I have a good track record
Great.
as well.
And as we said in one of the earlier ones, where we always put these in here because it doesn't stay with you, it stays with the property. So whereas you may exercise that diligence, we have to have protections in case the next person does not. And then this was the one comment I got back from the OCM, that a solid wall and or buffer per the OCM Good Manufacturing Practices Guidelines be located between the retail portion of the business and the production, cultivation, and processing portion of the business. It wasn't clear to me whether that needs to be a firewall, but they basically talked about, they want some separation between the retail portion and the
Yeah.
cultivation portion.
So what I can say is the retail part of the business will be up front and all the manufacturing will be in the back. And there is concrete block walls in between those areas. So that I'm thinking that's would address those issues.
Yeah, it didn't sound like it was strict. They just didn't want it intermixed is
Yeah.
what it sounded like. So I think, again, they sent to me the Good Manufacturing Practices Guidelines.
Yeah.
I will just say that whereas the whoever runs that OCM email for municipalities does a great job, whoever created those guidelines, not as much. It was tough to find anything about this wall that they talked about, but it sounds like I would certainly say if you've got a cinder block wall, that
Yeah.
cuts it.
Yeah, you can actually see it that the office space in the front is almost like a separate appendage from
Yeah.
the main structure. So I
Yeah.
think that for sure, I don't know if that was built after the main structure, but
Right.
I bet for sure there's a block wall going
Yeah.
through that.
Yep, sounds
space.
good. And then the last one is that retail operations shall not occur between the hours of 10 PM and 8 AM.
Yes, we're aware of that, sir.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So those are all the conditions. And any other comments, questions?
I just have a question. How many employees do you anticipate?
Oh, that's a great question. So I would say we're probably going to be somewhere between 20 to 40.
That's great.
Yeah.
Our
And these are
Chamber
gonna be
of
good paying
Commerce will love
jobs.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
You up?
So, Mr. Bishop, will you be on premises or will it just be your employees?
No, I'll be on the premises as well. Maybe not all the time, but I will be on the premises. And our management staff will be there all the time.
Okay. You mentioned various products. What are you manufacturing? Is it just the cannabis itself? Is it some other products that?
Our primary SKUs, startup will be flower itself. So the cannabis flower, the bud that people consume. We'll also be taking and processing that into live rosin, which is a concentrated form of cannabis. That'll be done through a water washing, non-volatile extraction process, which is a lot more, it's basically the essence of flower. So it's very natural. No chemical processing going on at the site at all. So those will be the two main SKUs that we'll be producing right out of the gate.
Okay.
Then we'll step into tinctures and edibles and other product lines, but those will be the two primary SKUs we launch at first.
Now, are you manufacturing the edibles?
We're
as
not going to
well?
be doing edibles at first, just the flower and then the live rosin.
Okay.
And I assume the rosin is what's then used to make the edibles
It-
typically?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And then you sell that resin to somebody that makes those
We're going to
edibles?
sell that live rosin in a 1 gram vape cart. That'll be one of the primaries. That'll be our secondary primary SKU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Thanks.
Yeah, you will.
So on a micro business license, there's a limit. There's certain number of plants they can grow. There's a certain amount of plants they can purchase for the processing to supplement that.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
We're out of time.
You know, and so there's basically limits on the maximum size, although I will say in an ILCD, if this ever grows and you want to go for, you know, one of the tier 1, 2, or 3 licenses, you're at least in the district where you'd be able to grow. Like the small micro business can be in a couple other areas, but the larger can only be in the ILCDs. So
That's
so
awesome.
if your business does grow and you are able to get the next license up from OCM, you will be able to do that in your current location.
That's great to know. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I just want to add first that I haven't been real happy with some of the other location of the other places. I'm very happy with, I have no problem with the location. I think
He
it's a-
always felt that they should only be in the ILCD.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And so I'm very happy with the location, I'll say.
Yeah.
Wasn't business good in Ithaca? I thought that would be a great town to be in the cannabis
Ithaca
business.
is a great town. Don't get me wrong. I love upstate New York. Really, I do. And I love Ithaca. But there's already several operators there.
Okay.
And it's a very small town, as you
Right.
know. And so we thought this made more sense.
Are you gonna, can you offer delivery? And are you?
We can, yeah.
Okay.
And I've got experience doing that as well.
You-
We're gonna probably look at that. It probably won't be something we'll do right out of the gate, but we are gonna be looking at doing that as well.
Okay.
And who do you see as your primary customer?
Well, what's funny, what's interesting to me about upstate New York is the demographic here is completely different than it is in California, for an example. The demographic in California is primarily 21 to 40. Here it's from 21 to 70. So it's a much larger demographic who's buying cannabis and primarily for ailments. So I'm really intrigued to see this here, to be honest with you. I've been into several dispensaries and I see a lot of older folks buying cannabis and enjoying themselves. And I'm like, this is great. This is how this should be. So I'm pretty excited about that.
And one thing I was on the, I think they loosened up the law, the OMC or OCM, excuse me. I think OCM loosened up the signs on, or the rules on signage. Do we want to add anything in there? Because I think some of the signs are getting brighter than what we thought they were gonna be.
On the legal ones?
Unbelievable.
I haven't seen it on the legal ones. The only thing they did allow is they allowed color.
Right.
They had, I think because originally it was black and white.
Yeah.
What one do you think is?
The one over, I heard about it over on, West Henrietta across.
Mango?
Yeah, Mango. Yeah, they now have their logo on there, and they weren't allowed to have that at one time, I don't believe, and they weren't allowed to have the colors like you said.
Yeah, my recollection of that, it wasn't, I personally didn't see, that one's outside the norm. There was one on their website that they basically, it was cartoonish. And one could argue that it, caters towards minors. And that one, I actually sent a copy of it to the Office of Cannabis Management to review. But the Mango one, yes, it added color, but to my knowledge, or my recollection of it, it wasn't cartoonish. But if you think it's of issue, let me know and I'll send it to the Office of Cannabis Management, but.
Wayne, one last question.
Yes, sir.
Would you be doing a mailing to our community about your place of business?
Am I gonna mail them?
Yeah, any mailings and
Oh.
postcards going out?
Great idea. You know, we've done that before, and I think it's actually helpful that people get these kind of things from us so they can have a chance to at least know that we're opening business here. So we probably will do some flyers.
I just got one from Mango. I just wondered.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially at your location where people aren't, I mean, if it was on Jefferson Road, people are gonna spot it.
Yeah.
You're kind of tucked back
Yeah.
in, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Questions?
Thanks for your.
Any questions from the public? Any questions from online? Then hearing and seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing for special use permit application number 2025-004, Evato 77 Ridgeland Road. So we can't actually vote on this until after the update to the zoning map for the ILCD. For those unaware, for some reason, 3 small parcels were left out of the ILCD rectangle. Don't know why. So we put forth a zoning resolution to basically put them in, because if you look at the original rectangle, they really should have been in there. So until that passes, we can't we can't approve a special use permit. So
Can I ask where that's at, Schultz? Because I thought.
that's today.
Oh,
It's just later on the agenda.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
In other words, normally we do them
Gotcha.
right after the
Okay,
public hearing.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir.
So assuming that zoning passes, then we can vote on yours, and if that passes, you'll be all set.
Thank you all.
Yep. Finally, we have a public hearing for the proposed local law to amend the official zoning map of the town of Henrietta to rezone approximately 6.6 acres of land located at 77, 97, and 99 Ridgeland Road from industrial to industrial limited commercial district. So this is a continuation of the public hearing from last meeting. As is typical, we like to have 2 meetings for rezones. We had the first public hearing last week while we were still in the seeker process. We have now finished the 30-day window for the seeker. Anybody wish to comment on that proposed rezoning? Anything online? And hearing and seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing for the proposed local law to amend the official zoning map of the town of Henrietta. All right. Can I get me, I don't know, 4th, 5th, 6th resolution, whatever number it is? I think Mike, you're up.
Yep, let me scroll down. and get-
Yeah, I've got to get to the.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution 4-102, 2025 to approve and or ratify the following agreements.
Seconded.
Any discussion? Most of these are for the concert, or a lot of them are for, most of them are for rec center, including a bunch for the concert series. I will just go out and say that I was excited to see Junkyard Field Trip as one of the concerts. One of my coworkers from the Center for Imaging Science is the drummer for that band, so can't wait to see him. So, any other comments?
I'll be looking forward to seeing you out there doing the junkyard dance.
I don't dance. Hearing and seeing no further comments, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page. Aye. Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 4-103, 2025 to authorize bills payable and any associated contracts or agreements for February 14th, 2025 through today, February 27th, 2025.
Second.
I'll notice the town did not spend $18 million under Exhibit B. That is, we collect, as I'm sure anyone who's had to come in and pay him, we're the ones who have to collect all the property taxes. We then take what was collected for the fire district and pay them. So that's where that 18 million comes from. In addition, in there is also the, I don't remember exact amount, 800 something thousand for the ambulance service. But like I said, that huge $18 million, that's for the fire district. Any other questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Mr. Supervisor, I have resolution number 4-104, 2025 to authorize an extension of special use permit numbers 2023-024 and 045 for the West Sunset Estates Senior Housing Project located on West Henrietta Road.
Seconded.
So I will thank the developers. Part of the reason they had a delay, they were listening to requests from neighboring properties on how they might adjust their site plans to improve the sight lines for those properties. They were able to make some minor adjustments. They couldn't make the full ones that the one resident was requesting, or else it would have negatively impacted the neighbor to the south. But they, you know, it's great that they were willing to entertain that, even though they had already received approval. And so they did make some slight modifications to try to improve the situation for the neighboring property. So any further questions, comments?
Really nice of them to do that and hold up their project to do so.
No, I believe this didn't fit the area. We didn't know before. We don't know again.
Okay. Hearing no further comments, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca?
Aye.
Councilmember Barley?
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford?
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz?
Supervisor Schultz and fellow board members, I have resolution 4-105, 2025 to declare intent to be lead agency for a coordinated seeker review of the proposed Wood Spring Suites Hotel at 1180 Jefferson Road.
Second. So we have a request for a hotel to go into essentially the large parking lot that used to be the call center, Sutherland Group Call Center parking lot. That parking lot does appear to be oversized, but they are doing a parking study to make sure that there is adequate parking if this hotel goes in, both for the portion that's going to be portioned off for the hotel as well as for the remaining properties as well. And that's part of the seeker process. So this is just declaring our intent to be lead agencies. Good questions, comments?
Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Next week or few weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Just concerned, what goes, once they put the hotel in, who's to not say they might need more parking when they fill that building, the vacant building.
Correct. One of the things that we've had this discussion about I definitely, we went out and asked a bunch of developers this question, because this gets into one of the things in the way we've been doing parking codes is they look at sort of the maximum volume or parking volume when they get into this development. So for instance, if I've got a retail store that might also have a warehouse, they say, oh, well, even though warehouse has very little parking, I need the space in case this switches from being a warehouse to something else. One of the things we ask developers is we can switch that and not go that way as long as they understand then if they decide to go that route. And where this is coming up is we have one property where they have a storefront, small storefront on the front, and then the back is all warehouse. And they want to expand the warehouse, and it would actually take up parking, the area that's currently parking. No one parks there because they don't need it. And the question is, do they have to get a variance? Or since from a parking rules for a warehouse, they're compliant. What we've said to them is, if you do that and we allow it, then that kind of shuts down your potential uses for the future building. Are you as a developer okay with that? And their answer was, yes, we understand that. We take that risk. If we want to open that back up, we can take that portion of the building down if we so desire. But it's really, the way I've looked at it is it's a business decision. And it was interesting because someone on our engineering staff was taking more of the engineering standpoint of, well, let's make sure this works for everything. But when you really get down to it, it's that business owner's decision. Are they willing to limit the future use of that building because now it has to be a lower parking density use only? And so again, going back to that, if they put this hotel in, that could never be a call center again, because there just wouldn't be enough parking. If the property owners are okay with that, I don't have a problem allowing it. They just have to understand that's the implications. All right, you bet. Any further comments? Then hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca?
Aye.
Councilmember Barley?
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford?
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz?
Fellow board members, I have resolution 4-106, 2025, to call for a public hearing on a proposed local law to amend the town code to add an LWRP consistency review law.
Second.
So a lot of people are probably now asking, what is a LWRP consistency review law? LWRP stands for Local Waterfront Revitalization Program, LWRP. We're in the process of finalizing our plan with the New York State Department of State. And the idea is the plan itself has a whole bunch of potential projects. There's more in there than we'll probably ever do. And the reason for that is if you go out for LWRP funding, it's much easier to get some funding approved for something that is in your plan than if it's not in your plan. And so we'd rather have stuff in there that we're never going to do rather than find out that there's something we want to do and it's not in our plan. So what the consistency review law does is a lot of this affects seeker determinations for projects within the waterfront revitalization area. And so the consistency just says, is the new project that someone's proposing within that area consistent with the goals and regulations of the LWRP? So that's the consistency that they're looking for. As far as where the waterfront revitalization area is located, it's predominantly west of East River Road, so along the river. It includes some western portions of the RIT campus, because as you get north of Bailey Road, East River Road ends up right near the river. And then it is a area to either side of the Erie Canal where it goes through the northeast corner of town. So those are the waterfront revitalization areas. If your project is outside that area, this has zero effect on you. This only affects ones within that area. So that's it. Any questions, comments?
Good explanation.
Thanks. All right. Hearing and seeing no further comments, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca?
Aye.
Councilmember Barley?
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford?
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz?
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have Resolution 4-107, 2025, to call for a public hearing on proposed local law to update the town code to modify the provisions related to penalties, remedies for violation regarding dog ownership, and especially the deposition of dangerous dogs.
Seconded.
So today, the only resolution to dangerous dog situation is to destroy the dog. New York State Department of Agriculture and Markets has other alternatives and remedies to deal with the disposition of a dangerous dog beyond just euthanasia. So we want to adopt those. So that's what this is doing. Any further questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page?
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca?
Aye.
Councilmember Barley?
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford?
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz?
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 4-108, 2025, to commit to the matching requirement for the low cap grant to install a mid-block crosswalk on Clay Road.
Second.
So we have a couple blind residents who live on Clay Road. Since the Clay Road has been connected through to the Walmart, the traffic has increased tremendously, making it unsafe for them to cross. There's no signalized cross or intersections there where they can cross. We reached out to Senator Cooney, and he was able to get us a low cap grant to install that crosswalk. So our matching contributions is almost all in-kind labor. In fact, I expect it to be totally in-kind labor. we went with all the high ends of the pricing estimates just to cover ourselves. At most, it would be about $1,000 out of pocket if it comes in that high. I do not expect it to come in that high, meaning that our only matching will be in kind. So I'd just like to thank Senator Cooney for his efforts in helping keep our residents safe. Any other
Here,
comments?
I say the same. Thanks for getting the grant for us. It's nice that we're doing something for someone who can't see or are legally blind. That crosswalk there is really nice.
All right, hearing and seeing no further comments, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley,
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 4-109, 2025, to authorize Morabito Architects to provide professional architectural design services for the Riverton Oaks Clubhouse and Restaurant.
Second.
Any discussion? Actually, I'll just mention, because a couple of the board members had asked questions about this. We have done an initial analysis on the affordability. So our plan is to build this restaurant without using any taxpayer dollars. The idea would be we would build it and take a mortgage out, essentially. So I guess the way we put it, we would use our funds initially, but then essentially be repaid by that mortgage. And the reason you do it in that order, it's tough to get a pre-construction loan. A mortgage requires that you have a house with a certificate of occupancy or a structure with a certificate of occupancy. So we would go that route, get a mortgage, and then the idea is that the rent for the hotel, the rent for the restaurant would pay the mortgage on the pay the debt service on the mortgage. So we did the analysis based off of, reached out to a number of sources for the average construction costs per square foot. When you add that up, the restaurant portion comes to about $840,000. If you take a mortgage out on that, at 6%, it's about $5,000 a month. At 7%, which is what it's currently at, it's about $5,500 or $5,700. The average cost rental price for a restaurant is $15 per square foot, which comes out to a little over $5,000 a year. So basically, the rates are starting to decline. We have to get below about 6.2% from a mortgage standpoint, interest rate, in order for that to break even. So it made sense for us to go to the next step to get firmer costs, will be to do the architects. Now you'll see this services has, it's about $50,000, but it's actually 3 stages. The first stage is just the initial design, and they typically refer to that going to the 80% stage. So we'll have enough to where we can go out then to construction experts and get a hard price to make sure we're still within the realm of reason. If that's the case, then we would go to the next step and have them produce the bid set. And so that's about another $20,000. Once we have the bid set, we can then go out to bid and get the actual cost back in. And again, if they're then too high, we'll have to look at, are there ways to either scale it back or find other ways to get revenues or cover those costs, because again, I don't intend for the restaurant to spend any taxpayer dollars on there. There will be, in the upcoming budget, there will be some $650 million is what's currently proposed for grants out to pro-housing communities, of which Henrietta is one. Currently, of the roughly 900 something towns in New York State, 270 of them are pro-housing. If you figure it goes up, let's say it goes up, to make the math easy, if it goes up to 325, that means that on average, you're looking at 2 million per town. We are well above average. So to qualify to be pro-housing, you need 3% growth over 3 years. We've had 11% growth, and it should be higher, except we've had this power issue with RG&E that's kept a couple significant housing projects on hold. So I expect us to get a good chunk of change for that. That's how I intend to, through grants, is how I intend to build the clubhouse side of it. You know, the goal will be that there's very little to no taxpayer dollars going towards this. The great news is if we're able to use any of that grant, I don't know that we will, because usually there's a limit on the amount of non-public space in anything that's created with those grant dollars. But we don't know, they don't have the rules out yet for the pro-housing stuff. So they may be different, but so we could build the clubhouse side, but not the restaurant side. If we can do both sides, then the great thing is that rent from the restaurant then goes into essentially into the operations for the golf course. We do expect the golf course to be break even if it was also getting $5,000 a month rent from the restaurant portion of the clubhouse, they would be cash positive. You know, like I said, that's kind of where it sits. I know there were some people asking about that and whether we should be spending this money without knowing that answer. Again, as best we can know the answer, this does work economically to where we will not have to spend anything. But we're going to pause at each step to make sure we don't get to a situation where we're building something and we don't have it. Now, I will say there's obviously a risk. What happens if you don't find someone to operate that restaurant? I will say we already have 3 interested parties in operating that restaurant. And I will note that there isn't currently a restaurant on that portion of town, even though that's where most of the new houses over the past 5 to 10 years have gone in. So I think whoever opens up there will be successful. Whereas there is certainly some risk that what happens if that goes out of business and we can't find someone else to take the place, I'm not overly concerned just because, again, of the viability of the location. So questions, comments?
Yeah,
Add to
I'd
that?
just like to also add, with everything you said, respectfully, still got people calling me and having conversations in Wegmans about, are we really looking to spend money on a clubhouse, $500 to $1 million for a clubhouse and restaurant, when most golf clubs can't make it right now? People are just concerned about their taxes going up, and with good reason. Whether they love golf or not, they're not so sure about spending money for something like this. When we're in workshop, we pose a question to our attorney about will it go to a referendum or not. I don't know if he found out anything about that. But just so the public knows, we are being careful with building this and taking it step by step.
So it's my understanding that for this resolution, that the funds are budgeted and existing with the engineering department. So there certainly is not going to be this isn't subject, this resolution is not subject to a permissive referendum. If the clubhouse plan does go forward, if it comes to fruition, then it depends really on how the building of it and potentially the operation of it is going to be funded. for instance, if you were going to use a capital improvement fund money, which the supervisor just said is not being considered here, that would be subject to a permissive referendum. Certain borrowing is subject to a permissive referendum. And so until you know where the funding is coming from, you're not going to know whether the resolution to go forward and build the facility is going to be subject to any type of referendum at all.
Thank you.
I will note, Dan, that it's possible that the clubhouse portion, not the restaurant portion, the clubhouse portion could potentially be done with the capital construction portion.
And that being the case,
Right.
when you got to that point, if that's what was going to happen, that would be subject to a permissive referendum.
Thank you.
So one of the things, the way we've been funding the capital projects, so we, a good chunk of that funding came from when we sold the cell tower. That brought us $1 million revenue above and beyond our normal operating. And so we put the majority of that, we used some of it to offset future taxes, if I remember correctly. And then the rest went into the capital improvement fund so that we can do these without having to pay for them with property tax dollars. So, but again, I don't,
Wait and see.
we wouldn't use that on the restaurant portion.
Right.
The restaurant portion would come from the restaurant operators, not from any of our tax dollars.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Then hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page,
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca,
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford,
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Is it me?
Yep.
Got all wrapped up in that.
No problem.
I got it. Supervisor Schultz and fellow board members, I have Resolution 4-110, 2025, to authorize Marathon Engineering to perform professional land surveying services for the establishment of a new town right-of-way along Fairwood Drive and Rivers Run.
Second. So the Fairwood Drive's been around for a long time. Rivers Run is a little newer. It's a senior development, and we looked at, we actually approved what's referred to as a deficient dedication, which basically means it's now a public road. The property owners who used to own it, essentially, the deficient just means that it's not currently up to town standards, and it's going to take some money to get it up to town standards. The current property owners are paying for that to go up. They're also paying for the survey. But basically, before we can fully take that right of way from a property standpoint, so we're kind of doing it right now through essentially like an easement, to fully define it and separate it out from the surrounding parcels, we need a land surveyor to do that. So it's a lengthy road, so it's not cheap. It's $19,000. We typically add a small allowance just in case we run into any issues, and that way we don't have to come back to the town board. So we're basically saying for not to exceed 21,000. But again, this is not being paid for by taxpayer dollars. This is being paid for by the three property owners, which is the Hill. Is the first one in. That's the apartment complex at the top of the hill. Then there's Greenwood Cove is the next one, and then the Rivers Run Homeowners Association. So they're the ones actually paying for the work. When it's all said and done, it'll be a town road just like any other town road. We'll plow it, maintain it, etc. Any other questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Fellow board members, I have resolution 4-111, 2025, to authorize a change order for Javen Construction Company Incorporated for field change work on the town court.
Second.
So these were a number of changes that occurred in the field, resulted in some additions. There were also some credits based off of other field changes. So like one of the things, when we knew that some of this was going over, we looked at the type of exterior sign that the architect had called for, where each letter was individually lit, was going to be pretty expensive. So we found another solution that everyone really liked, a quality sign, but was much cheaper. So we got credit for that. So with this change order, we're still on budget for the whole project, but like I said, this covers the additional changes. The one thing I want to note here, it says this is change order 1. Was the other one we did with regards to the vault, was that for Javen or was that for the electrician?
That was for Kaplan.
That was for the electrician.
Okay, just making sure. I just want to make sure we weren't double numbering, but. Okay, any other questions, comments? Then hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz and fellow board members, I have resolution 4-112, 2025, to authorize the purchase of a 2025 Chevrolet Traverse 2LT Traverse for the Highway Department.
Seconded.
Any questions, comments? Here, what's it?
I think Mr. Barber's going to be happy.
Yeah.
If approved.
Hearing and seeing no further comments, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. I'll just note that previous resolution, because it's using capital reserve fund, is subject to a permissive referendum.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 4-113, 2025, to authorize the purchase of a 2025 Chevrolet Silverado pickup for the Highway Department.
Second.
Any questions, comments? The last truck was used for our highway superintendent, and his pickup truck that he had been using, which he doesn't necessarily need the pickup bed, is going to another employee who does need the pickup bed. This one is going into our crew of plowing vehicles, plowing and hauling vehicles. So, any questions, comments? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford. I can see you talking, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Was that an aye?
Yes. Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, resolution number 4-114, 2025, to authorize a tax certiorari settlement with Eagles Landing One LLC and Buckingham Properties LLC for 1565 Jefferson Road.
Second.
So I'll note this one will have some repayment by the town. It's not significant. Usually we try to avoid that, but unfortunately there wasn't a way to settle that with here. You know, one of the things that we've been seeing is office space has been going down in value because there's so many people now working from home or working in a modified from home scenario. There's a large glut of open office space on the market. As such, you're starting to see changes in values. So.
Do we know how much of that is occupied? I was over there today and it was hard to tell. I know a good portion of it is the Goodwill, and then part of it.
She gave us what the vacancy rate there was. I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't know if Amy's.
I am on the meeting. This is Amy Yorsta, the town assessor. I gave you the vacancy in general for office. I did not give you the vacancy specifically for that property. And I'm sorry, Mike, I did not have time to look that up in between these last couple of days since the workshop. Just inundated in my office, but I can get that to you. It is close to 28%, if not higher.
20 vacant?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments?
Well, since Amy is online, good job with the settlement. $2,700 is not a lot of money. Again, we appreciate what you do.
Yes.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Then hearing and seeing no further comments, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Fellow board members, I have resolution 4-115, 2025 to declare items surplus materials from the IT department and the town clerk's office.
Second. Any questions or comments? I'll just note that typically if we can find a home for any of these used materials, we do. Otherwise, they typically go to a scrap recovery where applicable. Hearing and seeing no further comments, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Oh, it's spreading. Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. I'll just note, we are working on a new sound system. We had some of the components in here the other day. They were talking about, do we try to switch over? I said, no, not just before our town board meeting.
That's if we need it or not.
Yeah. Fellow board members, I have resolution 4-116, 2025 to make appropriate budget transfers to the 2024 adopted budget.
Second.
So, I don't know if we ever got the final numbers in.
I don't think we did.
We're still waiting on a couple final numbers to try to close out the 2024 budget, but
That was the final number, Supervisor. And the auditors will be here Monday.
great. Thank you. That was Linda Salpini, the Director of Finance. Any further comments, questions? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution 4-117, 2025 to hire personnel and make the attached changes.
Seconded.
Any comments? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 4-118, 2025, to authorize EC4B Engineering to provide professional mechanical, electrical, and plumbing design services for the Henrietta Municipal Dog Shelter.
Second.
Any further comments? Hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Mr. Supervisor and fellow board members, I have resolution number 4-119, 2025, to issue a negative declaration and adopt local law number 3 of 2025, to rezone approximately 6.6 acres of land located at 77, 97, and 99 Ridgeland Road from industrial to industrial limited commercial district ILCD.
Second.
So we had a lot of discussion at the public hearings about this, so I'll just ask if there's any further comments, questions. And hearing and seeing none, please call the roll.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Supervisor Schultz and fellow board members, I have resolution 4-120, 2025, to approve the special use permit application number 2025-004 for a cannabis micro business and retail cannabis dispensary at 77 Ridgeland Road.
Second. So again, we've had a lot of discussions about this already. Any further comments, questions?
If you're voting to approve it, you should probably condition it upon filing of local law number 3 with the Secretary of State, because that's when that becomes effective.
Okay. I will add condition number 9, that this approval is conditioned upon the filing of local law, was that 3, did we say? Local law 3 with the New York Secretary of State.
Second.
That's sufficient? Yeah, so I move that we add that 9th, and Rob just seconded it. So can we vote on the modification? Please call the roll for the modification. Well, any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Please call the roll to amend the resolution.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I can't see you. I just can't hear you. Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. We go to sign language here. All right, so now we are voting on the resolution as amended. Any further comments? Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Hearing and seeing no further comments, please call the roll for the amended resolution 4-120.
Councilmember Page.
Aye.
Councilmember Belanca.
Aye.
Councilmember Barley.
Aye.
Councilmember Stafford.
Aye.
Supervisor Schultz.
Aye. Congratulations. If you'd like to do a ribbon cutting when you're ready to open, send an email to supervisor@henrietta.org and I'll hook you up with the Chamber of Commerce. And we'll go from there. So congratulations. We look forward to you operating.
Good.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
And like I said, in the next day or so, I'll send the certification or response letter to the Office of Cannabis Management, letting them know you've been approved and good to go.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Congratulations, good luck.
All right, that concludes our resolutions. I will start off the committee and miscellaneous reports just by reporting. At the last meeting, the town board asked how much the town has received in grant dollars since 2018. We went through and collected all those, and the answer is over $20 million.
Wow.
The largest source was actually the Highway Department. A lot of that comes through New York State Department of Transportation. It's things like CHIPS and extreme weather and Pave New York. Some of the programs have been added on in more recent years. One of them's the state touring route. Essentially, they're renting Thruway Drive from us. The largest grant dollars from our state legislature is from Harry Bronson. That's about 1.8 million. There was a similar amount from our senators, but for the first so many years, we had Senator Gallivan, and after redistricting, it's Senator Cooney. Senator Cooney is moving quickly up the list, but you know, he's only been, I think it's just been a year, maybe two, yeah. So, you know, thank you to all of our legislators. We get a lot of money from the county as well. So thank you to the county executive and our county legislators for representing us. Part of that, like a big part of that, was the $500,000 for the expansion of the senior center and youth services. Originally, that was going to be spent predominantly in the city, and the legislators who represent the outer towns pushed to have a portion of those funds also go out to all the towns. So thank you to the individuals who helped make that happen. But like I said, that it's over $20 million, which means that's not coming out of your property taxes. That's a big reason why we've been able to keep the property tax rate, or property levy flat for 5 of the 7 years we've put forth budgets. So
That's outstanding. Say great job to everyone who made those grants possible for our town, and congratulations to you, Steve, for looking at ways of keeping our budget, our levy flat, and looking for ways to get our projects done without taxpayers paying the load of that. So thanks a lot. Great job.
thanks. I'll also note that the State of the Town address was Tuesday. It was well attended. I have uploaded the presentation onto the town website. If you go onto our henrietta.org, go to publications, you'll see a section there for the town, State of the Town. I noted there were only 1 or 2 up there, so I uploaded all of them going all the way back to 2018. So they're all up there. And the other thing I'll note is that what I typically do, the very next newsletter will have some of the major pages from that State of the Town address. So even for those unable to attend, you'll be able to see majority of that. I'll just say the state of the town is that we're in great financial health. We are, continue to expand our facilities, and just overall, our condition is doing really well. So thanks to all who make that possible, especially our employees and our department heads. So.
Thanks. I was glad to attend that luncheon. You did a great job. And thanks for sending out the presentation to us on the board.
It's always a great event, Stephen. Thanks. Thanks for all the time. I know you spend a lot of time on your presentation, so thank you.
Other board reports or other?
Go ahead, Joe.
The Youth Board has made the selections for the 2025 Youth Hall of Fame. Invitations have gone out, I believe, to all the board members. It is going to be held at the RIT Inn and Conference Center on May 4th. I want to give the invitation out to the rest of the public also. It's always a fantastic event, honoring 26 just amazing young men and women from our community. So I hope you can join us.
I just want to put on the record that the deadline for the Brown Blackwell Henrietta Woman of the Year nominations are coming up in March. So if anybody in town or anybody here has someone they'd like to nominate, now is the time to do it, please.
You said?
Steve, at the luncheon, you had mentioned you asked about how many years we've been doing the Hall of Fame. I was thinking about it. I didn't yell out, but I know it's been over 20 years.
Oh, I think it's like the 49th.
I believe that's
Is
right.
it 49th?
Yep.
It's
Wow.
been a long time, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's a great honor for our students.
The only, I failed to report 3 weeks ago that they had 4 new volunteer fighters, which is great. And at the past meeting this last week, Chief Cholak gave a year-end report, which I will report on next in 3 weeks. I
Sounds
just
good.
Don't have.
Anything else? Do we have anything from the public? And hearing and seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.